Yo, what's up? You watching SOULJA LAW TV, right here with CRE8 from Los Angeles, California.
When I look around, I always learn something, and that is to be always yourself and to express yourself, to have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate him. Now, that seems to me like they always copy mannerisms, but they never start from the very root of his being, and that is, how can I be me?
Don't be texting, don't be hitting my phone. Don't be stalking me on Facebook, trying to be cloned. Continue hating, keep your patterns telling lies to your lady. Like you put in hella work and you gon' pass me already. Imperial like I'm Django talking shit on that horse. Something old like the Morris migrate in the north. Think pimp, you see in my rapping reflect my living. Speak the language of vibration, her provoking post women. Off the tone, my hustle like Hopkins, I keep you blinded. How can God yet live in self and never find him? Irrational, I was thinking it's easy to pimp the gullible. Hit the weed and I meditate, this will find you subliminal. That's why I'm ahead of you niggas, and that's why I get more bread than you niggas. Plot with a purpose that keeps the opposite nervous. You can run and go tell that I'm back up on it, got service. Don't try to get on, we ain't homies. Don't try to be cool, we ain't friends. I don't know you, ho. Now you seeing me win, you know it. I worked so hard all these years, you worked out so.
We over here getting it in on the arts, you know, one of the pillars of hip hop, and we have a very special guest. You can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Yo, what's up, viewers? This is the one and only grand incredible CRE8 from Los Angeles, California, from South Central, and you know, I'm here in San Antonio, Texas. There were a lot of good artists right here. We all working side by side, and it's a pleasure and an honor for me to be able to be here painting amongst the greats. And you know, I've been doing this art form since 1982 at the age of 9 years old as a young kid. You know, I started off on paper, really getting into it. And by the age of 13 was the first time I ever picked up a spray can. And my adventure in this art form has been very, very good because I've been privileged to be able to do so much. From the streets all the way to the galleries, museums, and even into the corporate world, the corporate side of it. A lot of times, you know, I like to beautify. You know, I have my share in a little bit of both, but you know, my main goal is to beautify and to help make a difference because, you know, once you mature in your development, you know, and you start to get some wisdom about what's going on, it's very deep that you give back, you know what I'm saying, because it's only so much reckless activity you could do, because you know, with reckless activity has a lot of severe consequences with that. So you have to be able to be mature in your development in order to have longevity in this art form. A lot of people, like I say, they only in it for a certain amount of time and they might get caught up. They do a lot of time, and when you have to serve time behind bars over something, then you know you will be forgotten because people are gonna forget who you are after a while, unless you really made a major impact. But even once you make a major impact, there's gonna be generations after generations that's gonna come afterwards, and they're gonna be like, who is that? Who? What? You know, so in order for me to be at the level where I'm at, I have to stay relevant. And for me to stay relevant as a writer, graffiti artist, or aerosol artist, I have to be able to do multiple things in this culture. So me personally, I do lectures. I go to universities or colleges, and I go to high schools and community centers, and I give back to the community by talking to the young people. And I also talk to the adults that have no knowledge about the art form. You know, a lot of people have a misconception and a stereotype.
We see something, we hit it, we run.
If you don't write, you're nobody. Like, nobody knows who you are.
We're taggers, that's it. Taggers, they're the ones that just write a name on the wall.
My mission and my duty is to step on the scene and to educate as much as possible with the knowledge I do have, and share with them so that they won't be misled or be misguided about what it's all about. And it's, like I said, it's been a great experience. You know, I come up in a generation where in Los Angeles, I was the baby of the original people who laid down the blueprint. So as a young kid being the baby of them, that's the family tree where I come from. I've only surrounded myself with top-notch artists and writers at that time and to this day, because I've learned through my journey is that if you hang around other weak people, then you become the next weakest person on that chain. If you hang around a lot of good people who got some good strengths, you be the next one on that chain that have that good strength. So I come from that family tree and branch of good artists and good writers that have actually laid down the blueprint for a lot of different things, of style innovators, you know, style architects. I'm part of that branch. So I'm very proud to be able to say that I would never rewind back the hands of time and discredit where I come from, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be who I am today and where I'm at today. You know, I feel very proud of the roots of where I come from. A lot of people try to shy away from it now. Like, oh, I used to do graffiti art a long time ago when I was young.
Right, that's why I wanted to ask you, man, like the thrill of so I'm sure when you started, it wasn't all organized and licensed. It was, you know, do you miss just hitting a train, or sometimes is it about that? Is it about putting something there that doesn't belong? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you miss that thrill of it? Because I know it's a positive message with it.
That's right.
But I know there's also that wild card of like hip hop.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That raw grit.
Yeah, where sometimes you miss that it was raw.
Oh my god, dude. Turn around. Sorry, man.
As far as me going out and just going hard on the boulevard with it, I sort of don't miss it. Not in the bad way I say it. I say it only because in this culture of hip hop, the objective is to always elevate and keep elevating. That's always been at the very beginning of time with it, is to always stay elevated. So I definitely don't miss it, because I actually paid my dues on that kind of street level. Once again, I don't discredit it, because that's my foundation of where I come from. But what's missing today, to me, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other writers or graffiti artists would agree, is that now it's not a lot of places where people could go paint no more in the streets. In terms of yards, we call them yards. It's everybody's going to galleries now, and they becoming very different with the way the foundation of it used to look. Not that we gotta repeat what was done. It's always good to grow, like I was saying earlier. But what's going wrong is that a lot of people, they keep, now in these days, the gallery is the yard now. Everybody go to the gallery. We used to have what they call writer's corners, the writer block, writer benches. And people would go meet up and sign books and chill and show photographs. They show piece books. Now everybody go to galleries and that's the spot. It's like, man, you know, like I don't see nothing wrong with being in the gallery, like at this point in time when you paid your dues to be in there,
Right.
because you paid your dues to be in the gallery. But there's a lot of people who haven't paid their dues and they run right into the galleries, but they don't have no foundation, no credibility.
Right.
It's like somebody coming straight from junior high school or middle school and going straight into the pros.
Right.
And if they good, we can't hate on them. But it's like, well, wait a minute, where they come from? They didn't pay their dues like nobody else.
Where's that?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and then in the music industry, you have one hit wonder. They make one good record, they make some money or whatever they do, and then they'll fall off. You know, where's the longevity of real true MCs, real true writers, real true B-boys that keep inventing new styles? DJs that's listening to the right, DJs spinning the right kind of music. They not being controlled like puppets to do this and do that. They playing stuff that, like, damn. Like, I know for a fact, I've listened to the radio while I was spray painting. They done played one song about 10 times back to back, seemed like, and I'm like, man, I just heard that a few minutes ago.
Right.
Now, that's a whole different subject.
Yeah, that's a whole different subject.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's sad because that just goes to show the state of what people consider to be hip hop. And half the time when they calling it hip hop, they don't even know what hip hop is.
Right.
They think they know. They just think hip hop is the music, but they don't understand.
That's what makes it hip hop. This is the first thing I want to say to you. You want to do hip hop? You got to stand like this. In a hip hop head, we have this. Boom, bam, every time. Or
Whole umbrella of the culture is
breaking.
You know what I'm saying? They don't understand none of that.
Graffiti.
And if you ask, here's how you know when somebody really know about their culture of hip hop. Even if I'm a DJ, I'm gonna know some graffiti writer that's hardcore.
Right.
If I'm a DJ, I'm gonna know some strong B-boys. If I'm a graffiti writer, I'm gonna know some strong MCs.
Right.
You gotta know all, but you ask these quote-unquote wannabe hip-hoppers, what's hip-hop, the only thing they know is the MCs or the rap artists. I'm gonna say is that. But they not even MCs, they just rap artists saying some real nursery, Mother Goose, goofy rhymes, and you know, they don't display skill levels. In this art form, it's a must that we show skill level. In b-boying, it's a must we show skill level. DJing, you can't just be scratching on every little thing. You gotta know when to scratch.
Right.
It's like putting ingredients in your food, you know.
For sure. So I know we were gonna talk about the more economics then. So if we're gonna take it from the street, first of all, I do want to know, man, what was the craziest piece you ever did, man?
I done did so many.
I mean, you ain't gotta like, you know, snitch on yourself or nothing, but you know what I mean?
I did so many different ones.
Yeah, like what was the most like, man?
Well, I say this, it wasn't my craziest piece, but the first experience I did for a big job was 30 feet tall, 50 feet long. I walked into the studio, they said we had 2 days to do it. And I was like, damn, I ain't never seen a background that big for me and my 2 other homies to paint.
Right.
And I was like, we got 2 days? They were like, yeah, 2 days. And my mind was like, damn, can I handle this?
Right.
But I like the challenge. I was like, let's do it. And me and my buddies, man, we zoned out. We listened to our hip hop, and we did it. We knocked it out in 2 days with a lot of discipline and sacrifice.
Right.
That's a lot of times. A lot of people don't have that kind of discipline to do that kind of work, man. Everybody just want a quick, little easy get down, some quick, easy fame, and then once again, they don't really fit into the equation properly, you know. So that's something that I definitely reinforce, is that when you in this culture or this art movement, get some knowledge about what you in and what you're involved in. Understand what it is that you're doing. Respect the full culture of it. Don't just, you know, but everybody who do this art form is not into hip hop. There's some people who skaters, punk rockers, surfers. They just like to use the can as a tool to do their art. Some kids, they not even involved with any type of hip hop. Now
Would
they
you
make
say it originated from hip hop?
It was way before that, I would say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because our ancestors was always doing it on the wall.
Anyway.
It was symbols and writings, just in a different format.
Right.
But I will say this. It's been said that a lot of people that, you know, hip hop is the only culture that has fully embraced it and said it was part of a culture. They said, well, why is that part of culture? Because culture embraces food, fashion, music, dance, and art.
Right.
So nobody else can deny that. You know, and nobody else said this is part of our culture except for hip hop. You know, so that just goes to show how deep and thorough this culture is. You know, nobody else really fully has utilized it like hip hop culture for flyers, CD covers, or record covers, jean jackets, fashion. You know, background for videos, for commercials. You know, and you know, it's definitely a good tool to use if it's used in the correct respect. You know what I'm saying? A lot of time, man, people use this on the commercial level and they water it down. You know, I've been amongst people in the industry where they will want us to water things down, and sometimes you got to compromise if you feel like you need to, or sometimes you don't compromise, man. You got to pick and choose your semi-battles of the industry. Right. You know, you being controlled like a puppet here, and you got freedom over here. You know, some people get swept into the being controlled like a puppet so much that they lose control and sight of their essence of who they are. When they get swept into that lane, in that zone, next thing you know, they end up doing, it's like they go backwards in time to like losing their skill level and the quality of what made them them. Right. You know, me personally, I'm growing, so I try to keep on being strong. Every time I paint, my mission and my duty is to do something that's gonna be eye-catching and mind-blowing, and to always leave a stain on the brain that make when people look at it, they like, damn, they leave a lasting impression that, oh, he was here. You know, and I'm bringing my city with me everywhere I go. But I learned that it ain't just about that. It's about, man, being international, worldwide, in the sense of being able to go hardcore wherever you at, man, and you know, man, just being universal with it, 360 degrees, you know.
360 degrees. That's what I was gonna ask you too. Is it this culture? Is it different when you go, like, cause you on the West Coast? You know, is it different when you go to the East Coast?
Okay. Yeah.
Is it more competitive? Is it more like people are more familiar with, you know, with the 5 pillars of hip hop, or is on the West Coast? Is it I don't know, man. Is it more gang culture?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, is what I'm trying, because that's the reputation of the West Coast. Is gang culture.
Yeah. They know where we're at.
People, you know, to show who they are. Some people carry cards, right? Bob Smith, you know, plumber, whatever, and you know, while these guys are just writing it on walls, letting everybody know who they are.
If you see graffiti as an urban eyesore or sprayed-on vandalism, well, maybe you're right. But here in East Los Angeles, graffiti has a much greater significance. Graffiti is a form of gang advertising, a newspaper of the streets. And
you know,
that's true.
So,
thank you.
So, you know,
yeah, now, to answer that question, what's it like? I never been to New York, but some of my
let's cut real quick, that way you can drink.
Yeah, okay.
We're
going to show you how your mind creates external events in this reality. Why? Because you, ladies and gentlemen, are made in the image of God, and therefore you are God.
360 spiral hanging from my nodule, beard looking like the Garby symbol from the Bible. Smoking caused an incident, if thinking and imagining, couldn't stay away, the higher self wasn't having it. Stayed about my money, that's the energy that flowed to me. New school rookies looking like that they knowing me. Best to pay it peacefully, the sorcery is strong, we're born. You just wanna ask me about my hustle, when can you get on? Sun gazing at dawn, prepare life in Babylon. The iris tell a secret with the coldest lace in every song. Welcome to the new world, Illuminati experts. I was talking that there when you was talking network. Speaking to the universe, manifest my net worth. Some going forward, some moving backwards.
Almost free.
All right, so yeah, we were talking about if the genres are different when you go on different sides with, as far as the culture.
Different coasts.
Yep. Yeah, with the graffiti.
Well, where I'm from in LA, It is a lot of different aspects of how we engage in it. Once again, let's say in LA, I can't speak for the whole California, because California got a lot of different, you know, you got North California, you got our side, or we in LA, you got Oakland, you got Sacramento. They have a whole different, like, I've been out there and they whole thing is totally different. When I go, I look at their styles, I look at how they formulate their color scheme and letters. You know, everybody got a different signature thumbprint and spin on what they do. Now, where we from in LA, mind you, we got different sides of LA. You got East LA, you got the South LA, you got Hollywood area, which is sort of like north, then you got the valley, then you got the west side of LA, and you got the beach area. And there's a lot of different components and the way the politics is operated.
Right.
Oh man, it's so deep, it's so heavy.
Because you got what, crews and stuff?
You got crews all the way around. You got some people that solo riders.
Okay.
But it's interesting because, like on the east side, they have a signature thumbprint that you can identify with when you see most of the work. Even though everybody don't have to stick to that, you could go outside the box and be unique and different. On the south side where I'm from, we have a signature thumbprint that's very identifiable when you look at it. But once again, we don't have to stick with it. The objective is for everybody to be strong in their style,
right?
No matter what, because you know there's gonna be people who like maybe they like. I'm still talking about LA as an example. There's people who might like what we do on our side of town. Some people might overlook what we do. I'm gonna be honest. From where we from on the south side, we overlook. You know, because we're from the grimy part where people don't want to venture off into because of the news. Right, they'll be like, don't go over there because, you know, it's just so crazy and stuff. Which is not real. It could be crazy, but if you go to certain parts, it's not crazy. It just, that's the way it seems on television, you know. But it is real a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Now, you go to Hollywood, it's not crazy over there, but it's crazy in the sense of drugs and weirdos and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You go to the beach area, it's cool, you know, because it's the beach area. But you got some people over there, the same thing. It's the drugs, and they got gangs over there, believe it or not, that I've never been in New York, so I can't speak on New York. But what I will say is that, you know, you got the Bronx, you got Harlem, and they have different signature thumbprint styles too from some of their forefathers who invented certain things.
Right.
And, you know, believe it or not, his was interesting. We see stuff that they done over there that we use in some of our stuff, but we can't deny that's the mecca of style. Like there's a book called Subway Art.
That's what I wanted to ask without being like, would you say, because I'm not from New York either, but would you say it's like the mecca because it's the hip hop culture, graffiti art?
Yeah, now watch this. That's a good question. Now, watch this.
Right.
Here's the thing. Studied and understood and watched documentaries because we saw the New York development of hip hop culture and where it came from with that. It goes deeper though, because now watch this. At the same time, while they was b-boying over there and they was spray painting, this has an example with while they was b-boying over there. We on the West Coast, from Fresno, California, and all that, and up north in them areas, they was up there boogalooing and popping and strutting and all that kind of stuff. Which also we start doing in Los Angeles, our form of it. And then all of a sudden over there, they caught wind of that on Soul Train. Right. So when they see that on Soul Train, then they doing it what they call the electric boogie over there. And they start busting. Then we see some breaking going down, then we trying it. Our moves didn't look like they moves, it's a little amateur looking, but we had people from crews called the Shake City Rockers in LA. We had the LA Breakers, world famous LA Breakers. We had the Air Force crew. We had a lot of other good b-boy crews that was from LA. We had a lot of good popping dudes from LA that was like man, mind blowing. It's like they actually had a robot installed into their body. They was so hard. Yeah. Like they didn't do that little common average little move. They was hitting to the beats. They was inventing moves, giving them titles and names. That's when we give birth to things like even in the graffiti art world, writing world, you had people like Case 2 that came up with the computer rock style. You know, like Case 2 on certain documentaries speak on that. He's like giving birth to styles. You know, you're giving birth to things. Learning how to do the alphabet from A through Z and metamorphoses, and then like changing them up. You know, these are very key elements and key names of people. They just put out something on Ramel Z, you know, how he did the letter races and stuff, of how he had a certain dynamics of how he looked at this culture of what we call writing. You know, like through the subway system. Phase 2, you know, these kind of names have slightly been forgotten in culture and history. A lot of people don't even speak on these dudes, you know what I'm saying, unless they understand.
Man, you educating me right now.
Oh, yeah?
Man. I'm learning a lot about graffiti art right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is heavy, man. Like these dudes, Phase 2, Riff 170, Style Master Chain 3. Who else? Part from the Death Squad. All these guys, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Vulcan. You know, nobody really speak on these dudes, man. Like these dudes is like, well, some of them they might speak on, but a lot of the ones that I sort of named, like they there, but they overlooked. Right. Why are they overlooked? See, that's the question. Why are these people overlooked? Same thing like where I'm from. Why are the people from the South Side who used to get bussed out to the far out schools on the outskirts of LA, they start, we were sharing styles with them, man. You know what I'm saying? Like on the humble tip, we were sharing style. I didn't go to the far out schools. I stayed in the inner city, but I know for a fact a lot of people from the hood was getting bussed out to far schools, and they had piece books. And the kids were like, "Whoa, what is that?" They like, "This is writing, this graph." So they wanted to learn. Next thing you know, we sharing styles, and they start adapting styles, and they start learning. Next thing you know, man, here's where they start adapting styles, and they start learning. Next thing you know, man, here's where it gets a little weird and tricky. Is when you share them styles with certain people, and then they run off and don't bridge the gap for everybody to share a good piece of pie of equality on the playing field, to be equal in the sense of, I mean, I know it can't always be too fair because that's the competition of it. Right. But I mean, you got to be you better give respect and say and be humble about where you got your stuff from. Not that you got to be jocking and be on your knees to somebody. You never do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Respect. Yeah, you just showing that common respect. In the sense of like, man, you know what? Let me pay homage to these cats over here.
What's a good, like, let's say you an artist, you don't like me. I'm not an artist, but let's say there's an artist out here that's gonna be watching this who does tattoos or graffiti art.
That's right.
How can he network? What's the best way to know? You have some sites or places where these people can find out where these galleries are.
That's a good question.
You know, and also my next question was is, these galleries, is it something that y'all all come together to fund, to put the money together, or is it certain just individuals? Like, is it the same guys every time throwing the galleries? Basically, is what I'm asking.
That's another good question.
Yeah.
Okay, let me drop jewels on
that.
Right.
I know that was like 2-3 questions at once, man.
No,
you know.
I watch because it all sort of intertwined.
Right. Okay.
Websites to look at. There's so many of them these days, man. Like, at once upon a time, we didn't have none of this. Everything was underground. We have to be really ambitious about finding out this kind of information. You had to really be a part of it to understand where to go. And a lot of people didn't share this with everybody. It was like a secret society amongst itself. You know what I'm saying? It was to the point to where if you wasn't part of it, we wasn't telling you. It was like finding hidden treasure behind buildings, which was jewels that was hidden underground. Right. You had to go underneath the ground, underneath the tunnels of the street before they shut that down in LA, where you could go from one side of the street underneath the ground to the other and come back, but underneath them tunnels you see like pieces that was like mind-blowing. Right. You go behind buildings like factories like this, and we was like in our own little world that nobody can identify with. They would probably think we were little bums back there hiding out. And it was a crazy situation, but now once again, you can walk into these fancy galleries and everybody is there signing books, putting stickers in books. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And everybody got their nose turned up a little bit to a certain degree. And it's a weird feeling.
It's kind of like the music is getting waxed a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's definitely getting waxed.
You gotta bang on them, man.
Yeah, you know, cause we like the architects. We was there from day one pretty much, you know, from the beginning. When we step into place, they looking at us like, who are you guys? Why are you here? It's like, man, y'all better stop tripping. You know what I'm saying? Right. You go check the files and check the credentials and see what's really going on, because we'll blow your mind and take you to a whole different level, because we're the missing links to the big picture. You know. Right. And that's what's really important, is that bridging the gap, putting the puzzle pieces together to show people this is what it really truly is. Now, which leads into the other question. Do you have, man, hey, it'd be a lot of shows that certain people put on, man, and they'll leave out a big equation of people who are the essence of this culture. Right. And when they do that, man, they doing a disservice to the movement itself. I don't think that's a good thing to do when you keep recycling the same people over and over. Now, I do see it's a purpose for certain people, but man, like, you know, open up the playing field.
Let new talent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, even if it's not the new talent, but the ones that never got their shine, that deserve their shine. Like, when we got into the Getty Museum, there was an interesting book project where it's 150 graffiti artists from LA that participated in putting their artwork in this big, huge book that they produced. Now, I wasn't even part of the project at first. You know, on some real talk, I wasn't part of it. And I got an email saying, hey, be part of the Getty. I thought it was a joke for a minute. I was finna hit the delete button on the thing, right? Right. And I was like, is this a joke or for real? So I started verifying through certain people who credential whose name I saw on the thing. So I made a couple of calls and said, hey man, is this for real? They said, yeah. I said, should I trust this person who's in control? They said, yeah man, he's official. I said, okay man, like, if y'all say he's official, I'll be part of it. Right. And I you know, and they actually made me a co-curator to help to orchestrate the other artists. So my job was to bring in, I think, 25 or a little bit more of the people who I felt that I could select to be part of the artwork in the book. Everybody I picked had to be top-notch quality from my side of town that I knew was high caliber. I told all them dudes that I picked, I said, yo, whatever y'all do, man, we blowing their minds. I said, don't hold back on nothing. I said, everybody else might be doing like little throw-up letters, which are like quick bubble style letters. They might be doing some little skimpy tags and doing some stuff around it. Don't hold back. We gonna show them what a real true piece book should look like. Right. And everybody I pulled in, man, we blew their mind. Man, we blew their mind so hard to where like they'll never forget us. That book is gonna be to the end of time when the world maybe might be destroyed. Man, real talk. You know, and I'm very proud to be able to be part of that project and to be able to orchestrate the high caliber writers that I pulled in. You know, even when I did my piece in the book, man, like I spent like some days on it. I didn't want to just do anything. Like, here you go. A lot of people was getting away with, you know, doing stuff like that. I'm like, nah, man. Like, whatever I put in that book, I want them to be like, when they flip to that page, they gonna be like, damn, he came with it. You know, that's what anything I do, even on the wall, man, whatever I paint.
Is there a Facebook or something where people could get a hold of you, or a Gmail? Like, I know somebody gonna be out there and might want to reach out to you.
I'm on Facebook as King, K-I-N-G, Create, C-R-E with the number 8. I'm on Instagram as King, same thing, _ Create, spelled the same way, C-R-E with the number 8. And I'm on, my website is kingcreate.com, KINGCRE8.com. And you know, you'll be able to witness and see a lot of different things I do, not just on the street level, but on the commercial level. Now, a lot of people might say, oh man, you're doing commercial work, you're a sellout. But once again,
you gotta make money.
Yeah, you know, I'd rather do what I'm doing versus a regular 9 to 5, man. I like freedom. I like to be able to get up when I want to. I mean, bro, there's limitations. There's limitations to that, man. You can't hustle sleeping all day.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? You got to get up and put your 10 toes to the floor, you know? And you got to go hard on this boulevard, man. And you got to get up out there and kick up some dust. And you got to really put your name out there.
Not to cut you off, but what are some of the economic avenues that a person can take to get paid from doing these kind of things, you know?
Good question. Well, in this art form, man, there's so many different ways, you know what I'm saying, that you could finesse this situation to grow, to be able to make a living from it if you paid your dues from it. Like, I'm an art instructor. So on certain days, I go to youth centers and teach kids how to do what I do, the basic stuff. I teach the basics. So, you know, what else I do? I go to community centers and do mural projects with the young kids and teenagers and say, hey, this is how you paint a mural from beginning to end. You know, I teach them the basic fundamentals because they need to understand everything is not microwave these days. You can't just go to the wall, and here it's done. You know, it's a process. You know, from concept from the brain to manifestation to physical form. And they need to see that, because other than that, man, you have kids that, oh man, how long that take? 3 hours? I don't want to do it. It's like, man, what you thinking? Like, you got to do something. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in work, man. It ain't gonna be that easy. So that's one thing that I do. I do logos. I'm a graphic designer. I went to school for 2.5 years and studied commercial art. So I design logos for people. I do t-shirt designs. I do stuff for magazines or whatever they need me to do. And that's a good career too, man. But it's so much damn competition these days. You have to stand out, or you got to know your niche, who your market is, and who you're dealing with. Because man, everybody wants something for nothing these days. You can go on the internet and pick anything, type in the font, and say, here's I'll charge you $50. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, they killing it, man. And here's another sad thing. I have to say this for the record. You got a lot of people, man. They be painting jobs and stuff, man. I was in Hollywood in LA. And these people say, hey, we need some artwork inside of our building. An expensive tennis shoe store. And they were like, the place was huge. And they were like, can you hook this up? I said, yeah. They never said nothing about a budget. So I finally mentioned the budget. I said, what's your budget? The dude sort of looked at me like, he got quiet and he just sort of stared at me for a second. And he was like, well, what's your numbers? I said, man, how tall you want it? He said, about this high, da-da-da. I said, man, you looking at 7 G's, you know?
Right.
He got quiet again. He paused for a minute. He said, well, okay, bro, okay. And he tells his partner, hey, man, we got another appointment, we got to go. That was the signal to me, low-key, like, man, shit, forget him, we gonna keep moving.
Right.
I called him the next day because I didn't hear from him. Now, usually I wouldn't call, I'm gonna let them call because that showed me how serious they are. But out of curiosity, I just wanted to know what was up because we was on the time schedule.
Right.
So what we looking like, man? Y'all want to move forward? They said, oh, man, thank you, man. We found like some other writers over here on our side of town, and they just willing to do it for free. They just want some spray paint. Okay, all right, man. I hung up the phone. I said, damn, is that it? See, the other people, I'm curious to see what the work look like. Sometimes, if you're doing it like that, you're gonna get low quality work. Now, if that's what they want, same thing with the rest of the industry. If you want to give them Mickey Mouse garbage and you give them that, then you're gonna get Mickey Mouse garbage.
Yellow.
If you're looking for some serious high caliber artists to come in there and finesse your stuff correctly, you gotta pay like you weigh, you know? And it's definitely a serious cost to be the boss with getting it work done.
There's money in it though.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely a lot of money involved. There's people out here, man, in this street art, what they call it now. we didn't never call it that at first.
Right.
You know, now they call it street art. There's so many people in this movement, man, doing street art. Some of them come straight out of art school. They never even did what we did on the street. Right. And they making tons of money. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, there's a way to do this. Right. So the piece you're working on today, just to close out, what's this piece gonna be, man?
Oh, it says CRE8.
CRE8?
Yep. CRE number 8. Now, you know, this is fairly like a simple style piece with a little attitude behind it. I didn't really get too technical only because of the heat. And I don't want to play myself like a sucker.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna come correct with something simple and fresh with some finesse, and I'm gonna bust it out real tight. I like to always challenge myself with unique type style color schemes. I don't like to just do the average type stuff all the time in terms of colors. What I like to do is use like dirty, rusty colors at times that people be like, man, why the hell you using a rusty cinnamon orange? But I'll put some avocado green with some aqua turquoise and whatever other color I'm gonna throw in there. I'll come with an ill outline color, maybe some 3D or a shadow drop, and I'll make sure that by the time I'm done, I would never leave the wall until my stuff is hidden, you know, because that's the way I was raised. I came up amongst people that if your stuff was whack, they'd tell you it was whack, and you can't cry like a little buster about it. You had to be strong and go back to the lab, and you had to revise your sketches. Cause man, my boys that I roll with, they like, man, get that shit out of here. That's weak.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll be like, damn, I didn't do that.
Who inspires you, man? If you were gonna say like, hey, man, who's, you know, everybody got that somebody like.
Okay, that's a good question. Let me start from the East Coast first. In New York, you know, my influences is Scheme. That's my homie from TMT. Who else? Duster, United Artists. Phase 2, you know what I'm saying? D-E-R-O, Duro, because they got D-U-R-O and D-E-R-O, Dero, you know what I'm saying? He's a good style writer. Man, there's so many different dudes out there that got style, man. You know what I'm saying? T-Kid, you know what I'm saying? T-Kid got style. Man, you know, there's so many dudes, like I said, from out there. On the West Coast with me, man, we got so many diverse writers out there. I'm gonna say a name that maybe too many people not familiar with. My boy named Green from SMD. Green, man, he's underrated. People do know of him, but he don't get that full. A lot of people like to be in the spotlight, so he's not that dude that's like, look, I'm here. He'll come and bust and make you see like he's there. Right. His stuff is so powerful every time. He ain't going to the wall playing around. That dude. See, when I look at his work, it keeps me on my toes. We had a dude out in LA named Charlie. Charlie, every time Charlie hit, Charlie came correct. Charlie could do it, I kid you not, he do a piece this little and this shit be hard. He like, damn, it's clean, the colors is fresh, and it was so crispy. You know, Charlie, Green, we got a risk out there in LA, you know what I'm saying? But the thing about that is, you know, see, remember I was saying give respect to the people who taught other people. Right. You know, he had a mentor named Soon that influenced a lot of people in LA. Soon is from New York, but Soon came to LA in the early 80s. So Soon actually inspired so many. Now, I didn't say he inspired everybody, because everybody didn't learn from him. But there was quite a few people that saw what he was doing, and he was ahead of his time with style. So when we saw what he was doing, we was like, damn, that dude coming hard. And you know, when we found out he was from New York, that was like the closest thing we could get amongst us that was busting out that flavor. Even though it was other people from New York that made it to LA, like Grim from Tats Crew, Zephyr came to LA, Scene came to LA back in the early 80s. They did stuff at Venice Beach. Man, they did stuff for a lot of other things. Scene painted the Hollywood sign. Man, there was so many different things going on back then where people left an impact, you know. So that's what I'm at, man. I'm trying to travel and make an impact. Everywhere I go, I want people to know LA was there, you know. Like in a humble kind of way. Not that we the best thing to hit the planet, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? We definitely, when you look at history, we was doing things at a certain time and period where we was equivalent to what New York was doing.
Can't be distracted off the mission, I'm addicted to winning. You see me slam, crowded pimping, diamonds all in my grinning. Taking chances, all the gambling, I'm a hustler poser. Marijuana out the window, banging sobers move over. Disrespecting all you rookies, tell them lies to a bitch. How you already signed and you's about to get rich. Born is paid and I bow for days. I ain't even got a deal manipulating my way. It ain't fair for all you roach and lying, half-stepping cowards. I breathe, hustle, piss, grind every day, every hour. I see haters in my future and I see your demise. See my Cadillac, can he hit the switch and ride? 2-0, back up gangsters who gon' talk real shit. Real talk, real money, really flipping his chips. Fully loaded up, early count my iTunes money. I be getting it, pussy. Man, I'm chasing it.
When you study the history, you know, now on a global scale, people on the international level was doing things that was becoming more different because of the way that the government system was working. Supposedly, from my understanding, over in Europe, they give them permission to be able to do big murals because they embraced it different. In LA, you know, and I ain't saying they ain't never had to worry about the cops over there, but in New York and LA, man, they putting down the pressure. They like, hey, what you doing? Stop, you know, or they putting handcuffs on you. Right. So we was under pressure at nighttime, painting in the dark, doing burners. You know, people gotta understand. You know, man, people was painting at nighttime in the cold, being chased by dogs and gangsters.
In the artist you want to bang on. No, I mean, you know, in a good way, when I on like constructive criticism way. you know,
Who fathered the planet, you self-annihilated bastards? We ain't pulling choppers, we lighting candles on you. Don't worry about this chopper, worry about this voodoo. I'm deprogramming massive people absorb it. Make the true and common knowledge like the planets in orbit. Watch these modern day crusaders, yeah, these Templars are nervous. Original is waking up, the realization of purpose. Supreme street economics, watch the underground surface. Offensive to anybody that push a present day slave ship. I ain't racist, deal with white folks on that cases by cases. I'm referring to the system, the foundation I'm faced with. Educate your simple slow ass who stole the identity. The U.S. history is white supremacy. Schools are groom machines, that's exactly the problem. So they can mold you how they want you and determine your outcome. Meanwhile, blacks and browns act like they can't be neighbors. That's the tools of power structure, that's divide and conquer.
Good energy flowing through their blood to wanting to keep doing this. I highly and deeply encourage you guys to keep pushing, man, because a lot of people picking up spray cans these days and they doing a lot of incredible things that we never thought would be able to be pushed from way back when it was beginning. And I think that, you know, now it's so incredible, man. A lot of stuff is mind-blowing, but don't lose sight of what this art form is all about. Even though it's a lot of growth that we still have to keep growing, but you know, the spray can is a tool. Spray can is a tool like any other thing. But the essence of this is all about the lettering, about style innovation, about taking the alphabet from A through Z and learning how to build on it, man, and push it to the limits that we never think we could push it to. You know, so that's one of the main things that I push. A lot of people say, well, man, you know, how can you just limitate it towards that? Because that's why we call ourselves writers. We didn't say artists, we said writers. You know, because writing deal with the alphabet. Now, and it's okay to be an artist as a writer because, you know, why not? You have to understand color. But I want people, the viewers, to know and understand this. A lot of people you see who do this art form never even went to art school before. We didn't have traditional training from quote-unquote masters and teachers in their world. We got masters and teachers in our world that we learn from directly and indirectly by studying style, by being thirsty and hungry to want to be the best, by saying, damn, man, I look up to this person, not jocking them to be like, oh, I gotta do what they do, but in the sense of doing it to the level of like, man, you know what, either I'm gonna get to that level or I want to pass that level. You know what I'm saying? And I highly encourage that for anybody in all aspects of hip-hop of life, you know what I'm saying? To be a person that's motivated to want to strive for the best, man. Don't always, I meet a lot of writers these days and they paint, sometimes they paint too cluelessly to where, meaning that, you know, I say, hey, what you are? I don't know, I'm just, you know, I don't know what it's gonna look like. I'm like, man, huh? I'm like, man, shit, you better kick it from here correctly. I don't say that, but that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, you know, I'm thinking like, man, this a different breed, man. When we paint it to bust. Right. Like, man, we finna leave a stain on your brain, man. We finna do this.
That's how we feeling about the music right now with SOULJA LAW, so.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, man. We going hard on these folks, man. Yeah. That we gotta make them understand, like, don't have that kind of attitude, man. Now, to each his own, man, but man, what's gonna make you the best is when you have that deep down attitude, a good attitude, a humble attitude, an attitude that's gonna push you to that edge of saying, I have to be the best. To some people, that don't matter no more. They like, man, hey, I'm not trying to be the best, I just want to do my thing. Okay, do your thing. But don't be mad when we booming and we busting. You know what I'm saying? Cause we coming. Hey, when I paint, I'm painting the bus, man. It's like friendly competition. Like I'm on the basketball court. I'm exercising my skills, man. Like right now, these are all cool people. These are friends, you know. But I'm painting the bus. You know what I'm saying? So it's friendly competition in a good way, you know. And it's healthy like that, man. People are afraid of battles, man. People, they shy away from that, but it helps you to sharpen up your game, your tools, man. It makes you come out there on the court, on the basketball court, or even on the wall to be able to play your best. You know, this ain't no Disneyland and no Mickey Mouse game, man. This shit is for real, to where when you pick up that can, man, you better go all out and you coming to destroy in a good way with beautification. But your style got to be banging so damn hard to where you be like, whoa, as I close out, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm here to do with my piece behind me. You guys be able to see the finished piece.
Right.
You know, this is, like I said, simple style, so I didn't go super technical with it. But even with a simple style, you know, there's a science on that, because a lot of people, they don't understand how to even bust simple styles that's effective. You know, a lot of times things don't have to be so technical for it to be so strong. You could do something real simplistic and it can speak in volumes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
we're really looking forward to your work. We're gonna stay in touch with you, man.
most definitely. Oh, one more thing. Sometimes it ain't about the quantity, it's about the quality. You know what I'm saying? So let's not get it twisted, folks.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, y'all might not see a lot of my pieces, but when you do see it, you're gonna be like, okay, the official, like a referee's whistle.
Ready.
That's what's up.
Thank you, brother. Nice meeting you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
You know?
All right.